a friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie 653. In that neighborhood, my brothers and sisters. Another Thursday, another time to get into another one of these true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious, what the is going on type of videos. And today, we are going back to Kyle from Dire Trip. Back to Dire Trip, Bean Team. And the title of this video is crazy as you know what. They cook chicken to hide the smell of grandma's body. 10 strange and dark cases. Now I'm just thinking, like, logically, how do they think that cooking chicken is gonna hide the smell of grandma's body? And maybe if the body is kind of fresh or whatever, so to speak, it will hide it for a little while, but it's not a solution that's gonna last a long time. You know what I'm saying? Eventually the freaking chicken smell gonna leave, but guess what? Grandma's body smell still gonna be right there in the house, which I'm presuming is more than likely a house, or assuming or whatever. But I don't know, Bean Team. Sometimes I be trying to get into the mind of these crazy people, and it started to make me feel like I'm going damn crazy. But I digress, man. We gonna go and get into it. But before we get into it, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. We are back to Kyle from Dire Trip. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
Alright everybody, it's that time. It's time for the last Strange and Dark Cases compilation of the year. This is where I take all of the interesting cases I come across while researching that aren't really long enough to be their own video, but are definitely worth talking about, and combine them all into one. With that out of the way, let's get started.
Get whatever you may need.
So for a while now, I've been using a service called Factor to help out with my meal prepping, and it's really working out. Factor has a team of gourmet chefs.
Kyle starting out with his commercial like on the Lazy Man, ain't it, y'all? Let me make sure the volume all the way up. Yeah, we good. Let's get past Kyle commercials. And shout out to Factor. Shout out to Dire Trip. Shout out to the Bean Team. Let me take it back right here. And let's go.
Off plus free shipping on your first box. Here we have Mom Cooked Chicken to Cover Up Smell of Grandma's Body. In Hyattsville, a suburb of Washington, D.C., there lived a family of 3. A grandmother named Margaret Craig, a mother named Candace Craig, and a 19-year-old daughter named Celia Hardy. The family was dysfunctional, to put it lightly. Mainly it seems that the mother, Candace, was committing identity fraud. Identity fraud against the grandmother, Margaret. She had been fraudulently using a credit card in her name. When Margaret found out, she wasn't happy. Rather than take the financial hit, she was going to report Candace to the police. One night, Celia heard the two arguing, followed by a loud thud and her grandma screaming. Candace came into the room and told Celia that something had fallen in the basement and to not go into her grandmother's room. The next day, after her mom left, Celia went into her grandma's room to find her body placed into a bin with a trash bag over her head. When she confronted her mom refused to tell her what happened, only telling her that they needed to get rid of the DNA somehow. She coldly told her that she, quote, wanted to use acid, burn the body, or chop it up.
And the thing that make this so crazy or make it stand out even more to me, y'all, is just the fact that this is a family. This is literally a grandmother, a mother, and a granddaughter. Or you can look at it as a freaking mother and I'm the mom and this is my daughter. Like any way you look at it, or you can look at it from the granddaughter way. This is my mama who didn't kill my grandma. You know what I'm saying, man? Like any way you look at it, it's like these are 3 generations of the same freaking family who involved in this. And it's so crazy that if you look at it from the granddaughter side, it's my mama who killed my grandma. Like what the freak? And now I'm sitting right here like, should I call the police? If I threaten to call the police, my mama might kill me too. Shit.
Candace went down into the basement with a chainsaw and began segmenting the body into pieces before putting them into trash bags. Several days later, after the body had really started to smell, Candace brought home a can of gasoline and took it out to the barbecue grill. She began to burn the body while throwing chicken onto the fire in a pathetic bid to mask the smell. Using gasoline, the fire quickly got out of hand until the neighbors eventually came over and called the fire department. But even then, the body wasn't discovered. The 2 women waited about a day. Then they took the remaining portions of the body back inside after they felt that they had probably cooled off. That day, someone who knew Margaret called 911, saying that they hadn't been able to get in contact with her for several days now. When the police came out, Candace nonchalantly answered the door and gave police full permission to search the house. When they went into the basement, they immediately noticed the disgusting odor. The police saw both blood and tissue on the floor, along with what appeared to be brain matter. Nearby, they found a knife and chainsaw that seemed to have been used to do the deed. This was when one of the witnesses from the day of the fire came forward to talk to the police. They told them that they had been there while the fire was ongoing, saying that they wondered if the 2 had been burning human remains. They felt that they must have been crazy for even thinking that. However, now it was all coming together, with the police quickly locating the site of the burn. By the end, the investigators were able to find about 67 different pieces of the body, but admittedly not the entire thing. While the method was listed as undetermined, the death was quickly ruled to be a homicide. Celia came to testify against her mother in court and tell the police everything that had happened. She even waived her Miranda rights to tell the police everything as quickly as possible. Still though, Candace denied any involvement. They were both thrown into jail and held without bond. Candace was put on trial for her mother's murder. Celia has been charged with accessory after the fact to the murder. As part of a plea deal, she continued to testify against her mom. Eventually, Candace was found guilty on all counts despite pleading not guilty. Celia pleaded guilty to being an accessory. While their sentences haven't yet been decided, it's heavily speculated that Candace, at least, is going to end up with life in prison without parole.
Like she rightfully should. The mama most definitely should end up with life in prison, y'all. Seriously. Now the daughter or the granddaughter, however you want to look at it, I don't know. I feel like she do need to do some time though. Just helping your mama. I'm just stuck on this is her grandmama and this is actually the mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck on how this all is happening, but it's like you helped her carry out cutting up her body into 67 different pieces that were actually discovered. It was even more than that. You know what I'm saying? You actually was putting her on the grill with your damn mama. And it's just so effed up because without the grandma, neither y'all would ever it had existed. Without the grandma, y'all would never even freaking been here. That's just crazy, man. I hope she get life in prison, and I hope the daughter/granddaughter get some type of time. Let's go. Starting off crazy.
This one is, neighbor murdered a father for petting a dog.
Whoa.
Back between Christmas and New Year's in 2021, tragedy struck for one of the dumbest of reasons. 28-year-old Valentin Gonzalez IV and his wife, Brittany Clark Gonzalez, were walking around outside of their apartment complex when they saw a dog that wasn't on a leash. It seemed friendly enough, so they decided to crouch down and pet it. This was when the dog's owner, 18-year-old Jordan Eaton, approached the two and started berating them. He was frantically screaming, being far too irate for the situation at hand, shouting things like, "You can't touch my dog, I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with any of you." Jordan then went back inside and a few seconds later returned with a handgun. He aimed it at Brittany, shouting curses at her, but her husband Valentin got in front of her to protect her. When Jordan shot towards her, he lunged towards Jordan and punched him in the face, trying to get the gun away from him, but he was fatally shot in the process. At first, Jordan Eaton completely fled the scene of the crime. However, cell phone video recorded by witnesses made the case against him very open and shut. Once he was caught, he was screwed. While talking to police, he claimed that it was all done in self-defense. He said that he had had some issues with the couple in the past and that he did his very best to ignore them, but he was sent over the edge when he saw them pet his dog. He said, "I just wanted them to leave me alone. I didn't want to shoot nobody." It didn't take too long at all for a jury to find Jordan guilty of the murder. Not only that, but he was charged and convicted of aggravated assault for trying to shoot Brittany as well. Insult was added to injury when Jordan's family came forward in court, begging the judge for leniency so that Jordan could have a second chance at life. Apparently, by now he had a son, and they wanted him to be around as a part of his son's life. In the end, though, Jordan was still sent to prison. However, it did end up being very lenient in the end, given the circumstances. He got 20 years for the murder of Valentin Gonzalez and 10 more for the assault on Brittany, but even that 10-year sentence was downgraded to be served on probation instead. With good behavior, even his 20-year sentence could end up drastically shorter. Either way, it looks like Jordan is going to be serving some time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for at least a while. All because his neighbors pet a dog.
That y'all already know what I'm finna say on this one. That is complete. I ain't gonna even say the cuss word. Let me just say it like this. That is complete what the elephant left on the showroom floor. Seriously, man, like a big pile of it. To me, no, dude, give him life. Give him freaking life. And it's crazy. He seemed like one of them dudes that are one of them people in general, man or woman, that just were having a bad day. And for some reason, them petting his dog just took him over the line, just, you know what I'm saying, crossed the line for him, made that light switch go off that should have never came on. That he went out there and was about to kill the girlfriend, first pointed at her, and then I wish that the boyfriend, instead of punching him, and he got a good shot on him, but instead of punching him, I wish he would have just went for the gun or something, tackled him or something like that. Because if you look at it, y'all, go back and look at it, when he punched him, his arm, which had the gun, went right back that way. And for all we know, hell, you can't convince me that he didn't try to shoot him, because it's real funny how your arm swung back that way, then some kind of way the trigger went off accidentally. I don't believe that ish. And then his parents and his look like sister, his family coming to court talking about please be lenient on him because he just had a little boy and all this and that. Fuck that shit. Now I'm cussing. F that ish, BET. Seriously, man. What about they family? What about the dude who probably was a father? I know he had to be someone's son, a brother maybe. You know what I'm saying? Or uncle maybe. What about him and his family? I hate when they use that in court, man, talking about, he just had a child or she just had a child, got to be there for their family. What about the victim's family? Let's go to the next one, y'all. I feel like that dude was just having a bad effing day and he just snapped. Let's go. And rest in peace to the dude passed away.
And now, father teams up with son to murder mom. Charles Martinez and his son Hevan were both made aware that Charles's ex, Crystal, Hevan's mother, was going to try to go to court to get full custody of Hevan's younger brother. This came after she had already been dealing with a lot of trouble from the two, saying that her husband had been abusing her and actually having to get a protective order against her own son after he strangled her and tried to kill her. She said that her own son had been physically beating her for about a year by this time. Charles, while not quite as outright, was doing damage on his own, often threatening to kill her as she slept. Even after the protective order was made, Charles told her that it was only a piece of paper and that nothing was going to stop him. Eventually, she got a restraining order against him as well. Charles and Hevan both separately made one last attempt to get Crystal to change her mind about going to court and filing for full custody, but to no avail. When that didn't work, the two simply decided that she needed to be out of the picture. They began to plot their next move, and they weren't quiet about it. Multiple witnesses came forward to say that they had been planning something drastic, specifically noting that they had threatened to kill Crystal. However, it was too late. One morning at around 2:20 a.m., Crystal's neighbors were awoken by the sound of gunshots coming from Crystal's home. They feared the worst, as the family's issues weren't exactly a secret. It seemed that the two men had driven up to the home and opened fire through one of the windows. After Charles broke in through the front door, Crystal fled back into the master bedroom. Either one or both of the men then confronted her there and shot her multiple times. Still though, after being shot, she managed to call the police. However, by the time that the ambulances arrived, she was already dead. She had been shot in the upper right arm, the upper right side of her chest, and in her right leg. An entire spent cartridge was found on the floor near her. The investigators were able to pretty quickly find surveillance footage from various different places showing Charles and his son driving on various roads around the home both shortly before and after the murder took place. After speaking to both witnesses and friends of the family, including a domestic violence victims advocate that Crystal had been seeing, it was pretty easy to put the pieces of the puzzle together. By pure coincidence, Hevan was picked up by a police officer for a completely unrelated crime shortly after. This was because he had fired a shot at another car during a 4th of July event in Cortez, Colorado. After a while, both he and his father were arrested and charges were filed against them. It wasn't too hard, as Hevan was still being held on suspicion of unlawfully possessing a firearm, not to mention firing it at somebody. Hevan has argued that he should be released from custody so that he can help support his family after the tragic passing of his mother. However,
oh, here we go again with that ish. I should be released so I can help my family through their hard times. Like, F that, you F your family up anyway. You know what I'm saying? You killed your freaking mama. Now, I ain't gonna harp back on it, y'all, like I did at the beginning of the video with the granddaughter and the mama and the grandma. But this is a similar situation, man. Family members doing this ish to each other, like, in just all different type of ways. Like, a father and a son conspiring to kill the son's mother, which is they had broke up, but it's still your baby mother. You know what I'm saying? Then they disregarding the little child that all this really is about, the younger son, the younger brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the F? And then as they shot her so many times this was a hate crime. And I don't even think that they was even trying to get away with this. Seriously, I don't think they was trying to get away with it. Now, the first case, they was trying to get away with it, trying to cut up a body and put it on the grill, all that craziness. I think they knew the police were going to find out that it was them doing this, and they still didn't effing care. Give them both life in prison, please. Long story short, short story long.
That was not granted. He's being tried separately to his father. Both of them are very likely looking at significant time in prison, if not full-on life sentences.
Damn, man, I thought we were going to get a conclusion to it, but yeah, I hope they get life in freaking prison for that.
And now we've got father killed man he found with his 14-year-old daughter. Now here's a story that's infuriating for some very different reasons. An Arkansas man named Aaron Spencer and his wife Heather had a daughter that was going through some trouble. Pretty big trouble. A 67-year-old man named Michael Foster had been grooming the then 13-year-old girl. This all culminated with him raping her eventually. This wasn't even only speculation, as he was indeed charged with both the assault and for stalking the girl online. While awaiting trial, he was let free on a $50,000 bond. This would later prove to be a clear mistake. Shortly after he was released on bail, the man started contact with the girl once again, now 14 years old, pretty immediately. However, this was all being done unbeknownst to her parents. Her parents found out the hard way one morning when they woke up in the early hours to the sound of their dog barking frantically, as if it had seen an intruder. When they went to check on their daughter to make sure everything was okay, she was missing from her room. So Aaron got into his truck and immediately set out to go look for her while calling 911 at the same time. It wasn't too long before he saw a truck, Michael Foster's truck, with his daughter inside. Heather has said, "We absolutely called 911 during the entire event. We had no idea this man was in contact with our child again. He was awaiting 6 to 9 felonies for what he did, not 2. He was looking at the rest of his pathetic life in jail, and our daughter was the only witness." Once Michael realized Aaron was behind him, he sped up and tried to run. The car chase ended up with an accident. Aaron hopped out and was able to get his daughter back. But here's where things get a bit fuzzy. It has been said that Michael attempted to attack Aaron. What we do know is that Aaron pulled out his gun and shot him to death. Whether or not he was attacked doesn't really matter to the general public, who fully supports him either way. Aaron was arrested on a preliminary charge of first-degree murder and booked into the Lonoke County Detention Center. Luckily, he was able to post bond and walk out the next day. Heather took to social media to confirm that Michael Foster had a no-contact order with their daughter and that they had every reason to believe that he might kill her, being the only witness in his case. Several lawyers who work on abuse cases such as this have said that there are several ways to move forward. They have said that there are a couple of ways to either significantly reduce or even get rid of prison time entirely. One of these lawyers, Brian Claypool, has said, Aaron Spencer's legal team will clearly argue what is called a heat of passion. That is a defense in the state of Arkansas. And what that really means is that Spencer committed the alleged murder in the midst of an emotional disturbance. Heat of passion reduces a charge of first-degree or second-degree murder down to manslaughter. This would be a big deal for Aaron Spencer, because that can make the difference between getting convicted and spending 30 years to life in jail or serving 5 to 20 years in jail.
Man, I feel like he shouldn't serve not one freaking day in jail. I hate he had to even go down there, you know what I'm saying, to get bailed out. Like, seriously, man, we need to come up with some type of law where if a grown-ass fucking adult do that, and I'm not going to even say what that was, but y'all know what it was, the SA word, assaulted a child, and especially it's your child, it's your daughter, it's your son, you got a right to kill them. Long story short, story long, man. And especially in this case, when not only did the dude get caught, he got convicted and all that, but he posted bond. That's another thing I feel like we need to do away with. If somebody get caught essaying a child, they should not even be, there should be no bail, no bond. You can't get out. You gotta wait till you go to trial. Seriously. But y'all let him back out, and he go into their home and kidnap the little girl. And when I say kidnap, the little girl may have went willingly being seen. She may have been consenting to all this. And y'all see how I got the quotation marks up, because at 14 years old, 13 years old, you can't consent to no sexual activities. Seriously, man. So it's like he doubled down and went and got her out of her home. Like I said, whether she wanted to go with him or not. And that's like, dude, goddamn, what else am I supposed to do other than kill this mother? You know what? I don't blame Aaron at all, man. And I hope he get the lightest sentence that he could. Because if I was in that situation, I would have did the same damn thing. If not even earlier than he did. He showed grace. He showed patience. A lot of fathers out there wouldn't even do that. Let's go, y'all.
He added that if they really did successfully argue from the self-defense angle, they could negate the charges entirely. After posting that $150,000 bond, though, the family is pretty low on funds. If you wish to donate to their legal costs and help keep the family afloat, I will be posting their PayPal account in the description or maybe a pinned comment below. And this one is, girl and friends beat elderly disabled man to death because they were bored. While we're on the subject of infuriating cases, I feel like this is one of them that will definitely tick that box. Back in the Washington, D.C. area, the police department responded to an area on the 6200 block of Georgia Avenue just before 1 a.m. on October 17th of 2023. They were told that an elderly man had collapsed in the streets. When the police arrived, they found a 64-year-old man named Reggie Brown on the ground with severe trauma consistent with being beaten. While he was alive, he wouldn't even make it into an ambulance before passing away at the scene. The story of what had happened came to be more clear over the coming days, and even more so during the trial. A group of 5 girls between the ages of 12 and 15 were walking down the street at around 11 p.m. when they decided that they wanted something to do. After complaining about being bored, the 15-year-old girl in the group proposed that they find a random person to beat up. So they set out to do just that, and Reggie happened to be their target. Surveillance footage showed the group of girls chasing Reggie through an alley before they cornered him. One of the younger girls recorded as the others began to beat him and taunt him. While Reggie laid on the ground, they made fun of him for bleeding out, with one girl shouting, "Damn, you leaking." A medical examiner found that Reggie had died from blunt force trauma to the head causing bleeding in the brain. The girls were happy with what they had done, with the 15-year-old feeling that he was dead for sure.
You got to be a stupid mother to actually record yourself committing a crime. Like, that what got me when Kyle said that one of the girls was recording the whole goddamn thing. Like, what the freak, man? Like, man, this new generation with this social media and ish, because I'm pretty sure that she did that to post it to Facebook or Twitter, X, Instagram. Look what we did, y'all. Like, what, you proud of this?
The girls were all caught and arrested, and at first they tried to deflect. The 15-year-old girl, kind of the ringleader of the group, said that they all came across a man who was already beating the victim. She said that they all simply asked the man if they could help beat him up. Then they chased him down once he began to flee, conveniently before any of them had actually hit him. Needless to say, the police didn't really believe her. The girls all came to testify. The judge asked, "Do you remember what you were thinking when you walked back to the alley?" To which the ringleader responded, "He's dead." It was around then that the truth came to light. The girls admitted that they were simply bored and looking for something to do. Being all minors, though, the sentencing would prove to be tricky. So far, the oldest, the 15-year-old, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for assault with a deadly weapon, ultimately pleading guilty. 2 of the other girls pled guilty as well, facing second-degree murder charges. The maximum sentence that any of the girls even could get would be prison until the age of 21. It seems that, more than likely, they're all going to spend a couple of years in jail before being released, completely free with their charges hidden from public view.
That's the crazy and tricky thing about dealing with underage kids who commit murder, especially like a group of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even so sure, and it make me feel kind of bad on the inside, but I'm just telling the truth, Bean Team. I'm not even so sure I would want all 5 of them to get life in prison for that. But it just go against everything I be saying, man, because you know I'm always saying if you do the crime, you got to do the time. And you know I don't even like all that 25 years, 30, 15, if all that. I just say life, if not death penalty when it comes to these murders. But there are special cases, man. I don't freaking know, y'all. I will say this. 3 years? No, we're not doing no damn 3 years. Hell no, I give her 30. If she 15, I give her 30. She'll be out at 45. And then it's so effed up. And another thing I don't agree with is that Kyle said the maximum time they can get is until they at least the age of 21. 21? They getting out at 21 for murdering somebody. It's like, dude, they just now beginning their life. Or at least their adult life, you know what I'm saying? And Lord willing and God, I hope that all of us get to enjoy a long time as being an adult. I'm talking about at least 21, at least 40 more years, and that's only 61. Add another 50 to it, at least 80, something like that. I don't know, y'all. It's just like, dude, at the age of 21, they get out. Would they even have learned their lesson for real by then? That's what I said, man. It's just hard thinking about it when you're talking about juveniles and these murder cases, especially when there's a group of them. But rest in peace to that old man, and I hope they at least realized what they did, though. I hope they did learn their lesson. That's an effed up case, man. Let's go to the next one. Damn.
And this one's kind of a doozy. Drunk grandmother leaves baby in ditch. Now here's one that, while it is indeed infuriating, it is also just pretty weird and doesn't really have an explanation as of yet. One rainy night in Minnesota, a middle-aged woman was seen walking along the side of the road while holding a very young baby. One witness, a driver, slowed down and stopped his car on the shoulder of the road to ask if she was okay. The woman said that she was perfectly fine and proceeded down the road while holding the infant, wearing nothing but a long-sleeve shirt and sweatpants in the 50-degree rainy weather. The witness watched the grandma walk off the road and down into a ditch. She then came back out without the baby in her arms and broke into a sprint, fleeing the scene. The man then went down into the ditch himself to see if the baby had been left there, and lo and behold, it sure was. He then called the local police. It wasn't all too long before the police found the grandma, Anastasia Elizabeth Vaughn, stumbling around through the woods, appearing to be drunk. When they tried to talk to her, her speech was so slurred that she was quite hard to understand, and she reeked of liquor. She said that she was looking for a child, but refused to tell the officers anything else. Soon after, the woman's husband showed up on the scene to speak with the police. He said that they lived fairly close by and that he had no idea when or why she had even left. He said that all he knew was that they were taking care of 2 of their grandkids and that Anastasia had been drinking. The deputies on scene tried to breathalyze her but weren't able to get a proper reading. Even by the time she got to jail, she still blew a .229. She told jail staff that she had been drinking a whole lot of White Claws. She told the police during questioning that she had zero recollection of what had happened. When they asked her how much she had to drink, she refused to even answer. After that point, she refused to volunteer any more information at all. Anastasia has been charged with child endangerment. She's still being held in jail on a $10,000 bond that hasn't been paid. If she is to post bail, she'll be set up with some electronic home monitoring on her own dime, along with being subject to random alcohol and drug testing. If she's convicted, she could be sentenced to up to a year in jail, a $3,000 fine, or possibly both.
That one was just crazy. Like, you was that drunk, lady, where you literally walking down the freaking road with your grandchild and then you just decide to leave him or her in a ditch. Like, you that drunk. Seriously, if that was to happen to me, if I was to do some craziness like that, which I doubt I would ever do regardless of how drunk I am, but if I was just to hypothetically do something like that, y'all, that right there would scare me so bad when, I realized what I done after my drunken stupor when I'm back sober. It would scare me so bad that I did that to my grandchild that I would never drink again a day in my life. Like, seriously, man, that would be one of those moments where I'd be like, I would never do that. I would never even halfway kind of put myself back into a situation where I may potentially do that. Or at least I wouldn't drink around my grandkids no more. Like, I just find it hard to believe that she was that drunk. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like you knew what that you was doing or something, or you been wanting to do some craziness like that, and now the alcohol just gave you the encouragement to go and do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, y'all. I told y'all this was gonna be a crazy one from Kyle, and so far so crazy. Look like we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 more to go. Let's go, y'all.
And now we have woman poisons boyfriend because she thought he was rich. The next story is all parts tragic and stupid, and it all started with a simple scam email. Ina Thea Kenoyer, a 48-year-old woman, was living with her boyfriend, 51-year-old Stephen Riley Jr. in North Dakota. One night, for reasons unknown, she was rifling through Stephen's email when she found one that piqued her interest. An email stating that Stephen was going to receive a $30 million inheritance and claim it. She saw dollar signs in her eyes, feeling that this would be her chance to get rich. Within only a couple of hours, she hatched up a plan. She was going to poison Stephen and get all of the money once he inherited it. She ignored the fact that she wasn't even married to him and any of the prospective money would have gone to his kids.
That's what I was gonna say from the beginning. Like, why you feel like just because he dead, you gonna get all 30 million? You ain't nothing but a freaking girlfriend. You ain't getting not one penny. And then she's so stupid. Like, bro, you seen this in an email? Did you ever heard of trash email, junk email, spam email, trolling emails? Like, man, come on, man. If all us was to get rich from emails we done got like that, then the whole goddamn world will be rich. Cause we all get crazy messages of, oh, you have won this much. Fill this out and you will be receiving $50,000. Like, we all get craziness like that. I don't know, man. And then it just show you how much greed she had. Because let's say this man was getting $30 million. That's 30 million goddamn motherfucking dollars. You can't split that, not even split, but share that with him and his kids and stuff. You want all 30 freaking million to yourself? Like, that just show you the greed of people, man. What the freak? Let's go.
Nevertheless, she went through with the plan and poisoned him. On September 3rd, 2023, Stephen became incredibly ill. The next day, paramedics were called out to the home and took him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he didn't make it and passed away 1 day later. It was found that he had died from being poisoned with chemicals commonly found in antifreeze. The police were able to link Ina to the murder, taking her in. Both she and Stephen's son were questioned about what had happened. Stephen's son, Ryan, said that there was never any inheritance money. It was clearly a scam email. Ina told the police that she hadn't done anything, saying that Stephen had been drinking all day and had previously suffered heat stroke a few days prior. However, later on she came to admit to everything. She told the police that, at least, she was going to split the inheritance between herself and Stephen's son. The police told her that she wouldn't have even gotten any of the money if it had existed. She argued that the money did exist and that she would receive it due to being a common-law wife. However, they informed her that North Dakota did not recognize common-law relationships in the first place. Her plan would have never worked on any level. The case went to trial and Ina came to be sentenced to only 25 years in prison for what she had done, eventually coming to plead guilty. Stephen's sister said that she was lucky to get off as easily as she did, stating, "As so many other families of victims often feel, the punishment should fit the crime. But lucky for you, the Department of Corrections doesn't serve antifreeze in your iced tea." Ina will also have to serve an additional 10 years of supervised probation and pay $3,455 in restitution to Stephen's family.
Man, see, now I gotta go back to what I always say, y'all, with the years and ish. F 25 years, just give her life in prison. Now, at her age, 25 years, she looked like, I don't know if Kyle said her age, or if he did, I can't remember. But she looked like she in her late 40s, 50s, maybe early 60s. I don't know, y'all, but I'm saying, plus them 25 years, yeah, she probably gonna spend the rest of her life in prison. So why long story short, story long, y'all just won't say, lady, you gonna die in prison for what you did and be done with it. Let's go.
And this one is, Walmart employee found dead in oven.
Whoa.
Now here's a case that has taken social media by storm just recently, and while as of the writing of this video it isn't confirmed to be a crime, it's definitely looking that way. This case is that of Gursimran Kaur, a 19-year-old woman from the state of Punjab in India who moved to Canada with her mother after living in the UK for a while. They both came to find jobs at Walmart and worked there for about 2 years before tragedy struck. On the fateful night of October 19, 2024, Gursimran's body was found within the store's industrial walk-in oven in the back of the bakery section, having been severely burned. The one to find her was none other than her mother, who had come to look for her after not seeing her for more than an hour during her shift. The store was quickly closed and locked down as the police were called out to investigate the situation. Things were immediately fishy as the industrial ovens that Walmart uses are built specifically so that one can't accidentally lock themselves inside. It wasn't too long before various other workers in Walmart bakeries took to social media like TikTok and Instagram in order to demonstrate how the ovens work. While they appear to use different models in different stores, they always have some sort of fail-safe that prevents them from being closed and locked from the inside. Either a bar needs to be put in place outside the oven before the oven will start, or some sort of device is on the inside of the door that will let them open it. These videos created a lot of buzz about the case, with people understandably coming to the conclusion that someone must have pushed the victim into the oven and closed it. The police in Halifax haven't released any new statements in relation to the death, saying that the investigation very well may take a significant amount of time to complete. A candlelight vigil was held for Gursimran in the parking lot of her store. Hundreds of people showed up to pay their respects. They even stood in line to offer up some prayers for her. A GoFundMe page was set up to help her family, one organized by the Maritime Sikh Society. The page went on to raise nearly $200,000. A family friend said, "She was always excited. She was discussing a lot of ideas of what she wanted to do once she graduated from school, or something like that. So yeah, I think about her, it's too hard for me to think that she is no more." Walmart released a statement as well, saying that it has been a tragic and difficult time, writing, "Our associates wanted to attend tonight to grieve together and show their support. The investigation is continuing, and as police have shared, it's complex. We will continue to do everything we can to support the police in their investigation. We are working towards understanding how this tragic event occurred. We continue to support our associates during this difficult time." Right now, people are patiently waiting for answers as to what might have happened, or if it really was a murder, who might have done this.
Well, that was a sad one, Bean Team. Like, seriously, rest in peace to that beautiful young lady, man. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm pretty much convinced, just from the details that Kyle just gave us, that somebody did that. She ain't just walk up in there. If she did, she ain't freaking do all that by herself with the latch, the way that you need to close, like move the latch from the right to the left on certain models, different models or whatever, in order for the oven to start. And you need to do that from the outside, the way that all of them are built with a button or a latch on the inside for emergency exits and stuff. Like, I feel like somebody probably did that, y'all, more than likely. And then Walmart kind of being shady or something, because where the cameras at Walmart? And you may not have no cameras back there in the bakery section where the oven is at, but you still can look at all the other cameras to see if a customer ran back there real quick. Who, you know what I'm saying? Can you find somebody on the camera who ran back into where she was, or where the bakery and the oven was, or something, an outside customer? And if not, now we got to look at the employees. I would be investigating every employee involved involved in this freaking case, especially the ones who work in the damn bakery. And then you sit right there and you look at it and it's like, have they even fired anybody, or is the same person that potentially killed this girl still working there till this day? That's kind of scary to think about. And another thing that's scary to think about, and I ain't gonna even say that. I ain't gonna even say it, Bean Team. I ain't gonna even say it. I'm gonna go and say it, man. And the only reason I'm saying it is because y'all know we watch the most craziest ish over here, and anything is possible, man. What if it's her mama who staged it herself? What if her mama the one who put the girl in the oven? I'm just throwing it out there, man. I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I'm just saying, man, we watched a lot of Mr. Ballins over here, and Nick Crowley's, and Tragedy Tales, and Dial Trips. We have heard it all. We've been hearing it all so far in this video, so it's not as far-fetched as you would think. I'm just saying. Let's go.
This one's kind of out there. Man who wanted to get tied up on the beach got tied up and assaulted on the beach.
What?
Well, you know how it goes. Where would we be without Florida man? Or I guess Florida men and women, in this case. One night, a horny man in Florida was talking to a woman, 18-year-old Alana Cagle, online when she seemed to agree to participate in a fantasy he had. That fantasy was being tied up and ravaged on the beach. Seemingly excited, Alana agreed to pick the man up at his place and drive him out to Bicentennial Park. They parked the car and walked out to the beach. While walking down towards the sand, the man began to feel what he called odd vibes, saying that despite coming out there to get it on, she was sitting about 5 feet away from him and not making any contact. However, his concerns lifted as she pulled out a rope and began to tie him up, just like he wanted. However, as the man was being tied up, he came to see another man approaching the two of them. He tried to untie himself, but Alana jumped on top of his legs in an attempt to hold him down. He still managed to knock her off and run away, feeling that his spidey sense had definitely been right all along. However, the other man, 24-year-old Wayne Streeter, chased after him and tackled him down to the ground. Wayne started to choke him while Alana jumped in and started punching him in the face. Alana then pulled out a hatchet and began to strike him with it all over his entire body. Even so, the victim was still able to fight off the both of them and run off to get help. He managed to flag down a police car, completely drenched in blood by this point. Once more police came out, he was able to describe Alana's vehicle to them. They found her and pulled her over not too far away. With her, they found her with the victim's backpack that he had left behind. They tried to speak to Alana, but she quickly demanded that they let her lawyer up first. Wayne was caught as well, confirming that Alana was his girlfriend. He said that he and Alana were the ones who drove out to the beach together and that a strange man, the victim, had pushed Alana down, causing him to rush in and save her. He said that no weapons were used in the attack, but he did admit to grabbing the victim by the throat. However, the police didn't really buy it. Both of the two were arrested and thrown into jail. The police went down to the beach where the attack took place and found a very large pool of blood that better fit the victim's description of the attack that had taken place. Even he was too embarrassed to tell them what had happened at first, though, simply telling the police that he was on the beach when a couple jumped him without giving too many details. Nevertheless, he was treated at a hospital for various axe wounds all over his body, mainly on his abdomen. Alana and Wayne are being held on charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Both of them have posted their $5,000 bonds and walked out. It seems like the both of them will have court dates at some point before the end of 2024.
That's just a crazy one right there. That's a crazy one right there, Bean Team, to show you just don't trust strangers over the internet. You talk to them for a couple of days over the internet, and now you going to meet them and come to find out they got some devious-ish going on, some devilish-ish going on. Like, I don't even think that was just them trying to set him up to rob him. I think they just wanted to murder him more than anything, man. Seriously, they was just trying to get their rocks off, so to speak, by murdering somebody. A freaking crazy-ass couple. Let's go.
And last but not least, thieves stole 22,000 kilos of cheddar.
Damn.
After all of that, how about we take a break with a case that's just simply weird? In London, at a cheese specialist called Neal's Yard Dairy to be specific, a major heist has recently taken place. The heist would be that of cheese, over 48,000 pounds of it. It appears that a set of cheese thieves had been presenting themselves as wholesalers, even claiming that they belonged to a firm that didn't even exist. Once they received over 950 giant blocks of cheese from the company, they bolted with the goods and ghosted with them. All of the cheeses were high-quality, award-winning brands with a very high monetary value. Some of them go for roughly $10 for only 250 grams. Altogether, the whole heist could have been worth nearly $400,000 US. In addition to dealing with a massive financial setback, Neal's Yard Dairy is now dealing with some pretty significant trust issues. They have decided to pay the producers of the cheese so that they wouldn't have to deal with the ramifications of the scam themselves. A man named Patrick Holden, who runs the farm where one of the expensive cheeses, Half-Ud Cheddar, has said, "The artisan cheese world is a place where trust is deeply embedded in all transactions. It's a world where one's word is one's bond. It may have caused the company a setback, but the degree of trust that exists within our small industry as a whole is due in no small part to the ethos of Neal's Yard Dairy's founders." Tom Calver, who owns another one of the farms, Westcombe Dairy, has said, "The process of making that cheese started almost 3 years ago, when we planted seeds for the animals' feed. The amount of work that's gone into nurturing the cows, emphasizing best farming practice, and transforming the milk one batch at a time to produce the best possible cheese is beyond estimation. And for that to be stolen, it's absolutely terrible." So far, one 63-year-old man has been arrested in connection to the case. He was taken to a London police station and questioned. After, he was thrown into jail, but he was bailed out. Still, he's been ordered to stick around for further questioning. None of the cheese has been found yet. Experts have noted that it will be incredibly hard to sell all of it, especially if they intend to sell it abroad. It isn't known where the thieves have hidden it or how exactly they plan to move the product. It's still a mystery.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Like, what are y'all gonna do with all this cheese? Like, how you expect to sell all this cheese to just one person or one manufacturer or one business, you know what I'm saying, without it looking suspicious first and foremost? Then how are you gonna move it all there under the freaking radar? Like, that's a lot of goddamn cheese, y'all. But that just goes to show you that people will steal any freaking thing, especially if it got a real good monetary value to it. You know what I'm saying? That was worth $400,000+. That rung a bell in somebody head. I'm thinking this more than just one person who did this though. A group of people rung a bell in their head or opened their eyes up like, money, 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 money. That goddamn cheese started smelling like money to them, and they decided to do it. It's a freaking weird case though, y'all. Weird freaking case. But for the most part, all these were freaking weird, man. Weird, crazy, dark, deep, and mysterious. What the is going on type of video, for real, y'all. But great video from our boy Kyle, man. Great video from our boy Kyle. I will say the ones that just stand out the most to me is the ones involving the families. Like the very first one with the grandma who her daughter and her granddaughter was involved with cutting her body up and stuff. Or the other one with the two, the daddy and the son who killed the mama slash the ex baby mama, you know what I'm saying, or ex girlfriend, ex wife, whatever. And then you're leaving the little son. Like, that's just crazy. I'm trying to sum it up without summing all of it up, being seen, because I feel like we have been here long enough, man. But I will say the man who killed a dude accidentally for petting the dog, like, come on, man. I feel like he just snapped, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. W Dad who murdered that man, who more than multiple times was essaying his daughter. Shit, I would have did the same thing. I have no problem with that one at all. I hope he don't get no time. The one before after that was rest in peace to the old dude who got killed by those 5 girls who jumped them. And that's a weird case, man. The verdict on that one, that's so hard. But for all of them to get out at the age of 21, I don't know. I feel like you should give them more time than that. But that like I said, man, them juveniles trying to decide in the murder cases what type of time they should get, I will admit that it is difficult. The grandma who walked down the street and was so drunk till she decided to freaking leave her little baby in a ditch, her grandchild in a ditch. I don't know what the freak that is. I ain't never heard of nobody being that drunk. And like I said, if you that drunk and you actually did that without trying to do it, then I would never, if it was me, I would never get drunk a day again in my life. The lady who murdered her, I don't know if they weren't even married. This the crazy part. They weren't even married, man. And she murdered him because she thought out because she seen an email that he was about to get $30 freaking million, and she thought since she murdered him, all the money gonna come back to her. She was just stupid all the way around in that one. And I do feel like she is, even though it's 25 to life, I feel like she gonna, no, or is it just 25? Whatever. At least 25 years in prison. I feel like she gonna spend the rest of her life in prison because she already getting up there in age. And by the time 25 years from now, yeah, that's what, 2050? Yeah, she probably gonna pass away in prison. The one after that is so freaking weird, y'all, with the girl at Walmart who got pushed in the oven. And see, I said pushed because that's what I feel like happened. I feel like she got pushed. I don't feel like that was a freaking accident, man. I just really don't. And the one after that with the dude on the beach with the random social media lady who you think finna give you some and have y'all tied up and stuff. You don't know that lady from the goddamn rope that she gonna supposedly tie you up with. And like I said, I don't even feel like that was just a robbery. I feel like they were just on some, we just gonna set somebody up to kill them. Like we got a adrenaline to kill somebody. We got this rush and we just want to kill somebody together. Hey, baby, that would be so fun, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how them crazy ass couples be. And like I said with the last one with the cheese, man, that's just one of the ones where it's like, boy, people would steal anything if they feel like they can get a good amount of monetary value back from selling it. And I digress. I'm gonna go and let y'all go, big team. As always, I appreciate y'all being here. And as always, before you leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.